U.S. Treasuries took down.
Listen up, Rebels. Rebel Leader here, and today we're going to be talking about the best stock to buy in August 2021. And also, I want to touch base on a little extra surveillance that Apple's doing, but we'll get to that. Now, the best stock, particularly this week to buy, and going to be for the rest of the month and the next few months, is going to be Tattooed Chef. And now earnings are going to be released this week, I believe on Thursday, and it's going to be a lot of hype, it's going to determine the future really of this company, in the sense that the popularity of it on Wall Street, analysts, and also retail investors. So it really is going to depend on this earnings report. If they beat estimates, revenue estimates, earnings per share estimates, they're not going to break profitability. But it's really to see where they're at currently after all the hype that has been there since they IPO'd late last year, right? So it's going to be one of these important earnings calls that could go either way. This stock has been hovering between $15 and $20 now for the past, maybe 6-7 months. It reached 30 last year, and then it's just been up and down in that consolidation period. So now it's really going to either go back down to 15 if, a lot of people are spooked or they don't have good earnings and provide good guidance in the future, which, their guidance, forward-looking guidance, they're getting with so much more SKUs in all different chain brands like Target, Kroger, Sam's Club, Costco. They're getting in everywhere now, and they're getting more and more shelf space, which is very important because once they make those relationships, they don't leave. You never see people leaving, the pasta aisle or the in a grocery store aisle. Once they get in, they're in. So that's always the biggest challenge too, for all these companies entering that space. So now what we're seeing here is Tattooed Chef has the potential now to really not only innovate plant-based foods and take this entire generation, by storm, or the next 5 to 10 years to really grow into its own powerhouse, but we're also seeing the fact that they're also their own, not only distributor, but they're also their own farmers. They make they process and manufacture these foods themselves. It's really quite impressive what they're able to do from farm to table. They control the entire process, or from farm to the shelves, right, to the grocery store shelf. So this is why I'm really excited, particularly this week, because it's a big earnings call. And but for the rest of the month, I've been buying this for the last few months. This is a great time. It's hovering between $15 and $20 a share. This is when you want to buy it. You don't want to buy it a year from now when it's $40 a share. You don't want it to jump to 40 too fast either, because generally people get their paycheck every 2 weeks. You want to be buying this every month, in and out. And the longer it stays at its $20 range before it runs up, $15 $20 range, you can keep buying it. When it runs up to $40 a share or $30 a share, and maybe at the end of this year or next year, then you might have to look at a different stock. After it runs up, you have to, then you find the other undervalued stocks, right? That's kind of how that's the entire game, right? So once this stock catches up, I don't think it's gonna come back down to these levels, but right now it is at these levels and might be there till the end of this year. And that's, a good thing and a bad thing depending on what you look at. If you're a long-term investor, it doesn't really matter when it runs. When it runs, it runs. And it won't come back down. And all those gains, they're yours to keep, right? It's a game of patience in a sense, because, this company's bottom line, the profitability, their revenues, that's all coming. That's all coming. Nobody's even denying that. Wall Street, as soon as Wall Street enters this stock as well, and, more analysts are covering it, recommending it, it's included in funds, it's going to be a game changer. And, that it depends on how fast Tattooed Chefs can grow, because it's a brand new company. It's still growing. Now, that's going to happen within the next, 2 to 3 years. Like that everybody sees this changes happening, right? Plant-based food diet. And so it's really just a matter of patience. And it doesn't really matter when it runs up to, $40 or $60. That's a 2 or 3x of your money. As long as it happens, you're set, right? Doesn't matter if it takes next year, if it takes 3 years from now, if it takes 5 years from now. It really doesn't matter. As long as you know the company and you believe in it, and as long as your values, that's all what matters, right? So, and Tattooed Chef, it does that for me. I hope it does for you. And now I want to talk about, a little bit of Apple surveillance. I'll do a little bit more this Friday about it. But Apple, and I just found out this morning, they literally are releasing an update, maybe this fall, maybe they're already implementing it as we speak. But in their iOS, it's going to be surveilling you on your phones and your computers and your iPads, and it's going to be looking through your photos. And it's kind of insane to even think about, because this opens a door to a lot of questions, legal implications, and ownership rights as to who actually owns, your phone, the content on your phone, and your thoughts, your messages, your notes, things like that. Because Apple technically was always, in this, moral gray space when it allows privacy. We all knew it. And in my opinion, this is just like a huge power grab for Apple, and it's not going to go back if they are able to do this successfully. And it has some huge implications, but at the end of the day, from a business standpoint, it makes sense. It makes sense why they would do it, and it's only going to benefit them, because when you think about it, how can Apple get bigger? They can become a global police, right? That's a new vertical for them. That's literally more branding power, and it's more also it's just more power. So that's basically it for today. This weekly intel. We'll get back to you about it. Debrief. I want to look really more into what's happening in this, Apple surveillance. Rebel Leader, over and out.